So we immediately turn to the book of James, which tells us what it means to come down from heaven. There are two famous verses in James which say, every good gift comes down from heaven. And James also speaks about the wisdom that comes down from heaven. All that means is a good gift that comes down from heaven means a good gift that has its origin in God. Every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights. So this is simply a gift from God. It doesn't tell you that that person was in heaven before he came down. It simply means that he arrives on the earth. And if you look at the ones in John, you will find it's the Son of Man who pre-existed. That means a human being who pre-existed, that's to say, in God's great plan. So if you're going to believe this literally and take this language as though it's good American or British English, you're going to be misled. The Son of Man means the human being. The human being came down from heaven. Does that mean there was a human being in heaven before Jesus was alive? Of course not. So Jesus is the gift of God. And the type of that, the type means a picture or model of that in Old Testament times was the manna, M-A-N-N-A, the manna that they found on the ground. Did it come down on a parachute from heaven? Of course not. It appeared on the earth as a gift from heaven. It came down. That's the language of the Hebrew Bible. And if you don't find that easy, I don't blame you. But the Bible is not a British or American book and doesn't speak your language. You have to study hard to see how that language is used. So 3:13 was difficult for the disciples even. It was. It took some explaining. But there are plenty of commentaries, no doubt the Net Bible that Carlos uses a lot would explain that correctly, I think. Didn't Jesus say, I'm the bread of heaven? He's not literally bread, but Jesus is the one you want to feed on. That's to say, you want to feed on his teachings. Feeding on Jesus means eating his teachings. And so he said, I, Jesus, am the bread of life. Like food, feed on the words of Jesus and you'll be properly nourished.
Yeah, if I could emphasize
Yes.
the fact that the subject here all the
Yes.
time in these verses
Yes.
is the Son of Man, which is a Hebrew idiom,
Yes.
a Hebrew way of speaking of a human person.
Good point.
As far as I know, no
Mhm.
one who believes in a literal pre-existence, so-called,
Yes.
of Jesus,
Good.
I don't think anyone, Arians, ancient
Yeah.
Arians,
Yep.
so-called, or even people today, they do not mean, I think, that Jesus existed before as a human person. I don't think any pre-existence,
No.
literal pre-existence belief teaches that, because
No.
obviously that conflicts with, the famous John 1:14, that
Yes.
the word becomes a human person. So even if you take the word as a person in the Old
Mm.
Testament, you
Hmm.
don't have one human person, Son of Man, becoming
No. Never.
what, another human person, Son
No.
of Man. So obviously this teaching also, as you said, Anthony, in John 6 in
Yes.
particular, is not just difficult for us today, it was difficult for them back in the day.
Yes.
Because if
Yes.
you read the context in John 6,
Yes.
everyone left almost.
Yes.
They said, this is too hard. What do you mean drink your blood and
Yes.
eat your flesh? What are you talking about?